Show the audience first.
I don't know if it's down.
Yeah, go down a
there.
little bit, you got the ceiling right now.
Yeah, a little bit long, yep, there you
There you
go.
go.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Drug addiction affects us all, whether it's family, friends, coworkers. We all have people in our lives that struggle with this disease. So the question is, how can we help them? Today, I'm going to persuade you that drug treatment for nonviolent drug offenders is a preferable option than incarceration. I've completed research on addiction, and plus I've studied the correction system as a criminal justice major, and I've also lost a close friend to drug addiction. Today we'll cover some of the myths of drug addiction. I will discuss study results that show the benefits of treatment over incarceration, and I will also show poll results to show what taxpayers and voters think of the issue. Plus I will share a story of a close friend of mine that lost her battle with drug addiction. So I will begin with talking about some of the myths of drug addiction. According to Patterson, 2018, some of the myths of drug addiction are that substance abuse addiction is voluntary and that treatment must be voluntary in order for it to work. And while there is no denying that the addict made the choice to use the drug in the first place, that doesn't make drug addiction voluntary. According to the National Drug Abuse Institute, 2016, continued use of addictive substances changes the brain chemistry over time, which results in compulsive and sometimes uncontrollable drug use. So this is one reason that treatment is beneficial over incarceration. According to McLean Green, imprisonment punishes the actions, but it doesn't get to the root of the problem because it can't undo the physical and psychological changes that the brain, that causes the chemical changes in the brain that causes the drug abuse. And while it's true that many people are in denial about their addiction, it does not mean that they do not want to get better. Kirchner, 2010, stated that the vast majority sought treatment either because they were ordered to by the courts or they were urged by loved ones to get some help. And treatment works because it addresses the root of the problem, taking into account the brain chemistry, and the treatment counselors have the expertise to be able to deal with that and use practical means to be able to combat it. So now that we've discussed some of the myths, we will now talk about study results that show the effectiveness of treatment. Zarkin and others in 2012 stated that there's substantial literature that supports the claim that community-based treatment as an alternative to incarceration, either by diversion or drug court, has positive net benefits in society and the criminal justice system. Research conducted by the National Association of Drug Court Professionals state that 60 to 80% of drug users commit a new crime, typically a drug-related crime, after release from prison. And also 95% return to drug abuse immediately after release. Zark in 2012 stated that approximately 50% of state prisoners meet the criteria diagnosis for drug abuse and dependence. However, only 10% retrieve treatment. According to results of the study by RTI International and Temple University, their model showed that if just 10% of eligible offenders got sent to community-based treatment instead of prison, it would the criminal justice system would save $4.8 billion compared to their current practices. Study results also increase inmate diversion to community treatment programs show that substance abuse decreases over the lifetime, and the results also show that sizable decrease in the number of crimes, the number of arrests, and the number of people incarcerated. So now that we talked about the study results that are treatment-based, we talk about some of the poll results, what taxpayers say about it. And poll results show that that citizens are largely in favor of drug treatment. In fact, a poll done in Ohio here in Cincinnati by the Health Foundation of Greater Cincinnati shows that 76% of Ohioans favor treatment over incarceration for nonviolent drug offenders. And McVeigh and others, in a 2004 poll, Justice Policy Institute showed that Maryland voters believe by a 2-to-1 margin that there are too many people in prison. And 86% of the respondents said they favored the judge's option to order treatment for some drug users. Celeste Franzman was my closest friend. We grew up together. She was somebody I could always talk to and confide in. We could talk about anything. We just hung out together all the time. But she also battled the demons of crack cocaine addiction. Celeste's story is one of heartbreak because she gave birth when she was 18 to her daughter. Her name was Jordan, and she was born premature, so her lungs weren't developed all the way. So she was constantly in and out of the hospital just because of that. And Jordan died when she was 2, and Celeste was only 20 at the time. Because of her young age, she really couldn't deal with it. She fell into a deep depression and started abusing crack cocaine because of it. And Celeste told me several times that she wanted to get clean and get sober. I tried to help her, but she couldn't get away from the people she associated with. They kept her down. And just by being involved with them, they were the ones that actually led to her demise. She was actually murdered by 3 of those people that were supposedly her friends. So, and it's frustrating because Celeste was arrested on drug charges numerous times, cocaine possession, paraphernalia, sentenced to jail or prison every single time, didn't get treatment. I even checked the court records just to make sure, looked through every one of them. She was never sentenced to treatment, never even had the opportunity. So, I just wondered, just maybe once, if she was sent to drug treatment, if things could have changed for her, could have helped her out. So I will close with the following statements. We specifically looked at the myths of drug addiction. We talked about study results that favored the treatment, and we talked about poor results, or what voters think, and I also shared my story about Celeste. So I hope I've successfully informed you about why nonviolent drug offenders should deserve treatment instead of incarceration. And Celeste's death is why I'm here. It's why I'm pursuing a degree in criminal justice here at Stark State. So my goal is to work to change the laws, so maybe it'd be easier for nonviolent drug offenders to get sentenced to treatment instead of incarceration, so they can help break the cycle of addiction. And you've helped me here by listening, so I just ask that you consider what we talked about today and share that information with other people. Thank you very much.
Put it down. So you can see her when you.
Oh.
I agree with you.